What's going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight? Danny Parker here. Welcome to exclusive WWE Smackdown live review results reactions for Smackdown Live, the Go Home show. Tonight was the WWE Fastlane Go Home edition of Smackdown on Fox, which will open live from the Thunderdome, Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Virtual crowd. Cheers. Michael Cole welcomes us. We go with a special enforcer, WWE Hall of Famer Edge, with the winner becoming a special enforcer for the Universal title match at Fastlane. We go right to backstage with Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Women's Champion. Sasha Banks are arguing. Belair says that Banks defending her title against her at WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. We go right to the backstage area. SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks arguing with Belair, said that Banks defending her title against the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Nia Jax tonight is a bad decision. They paired to challenge Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the titles on Sunday at Fastlane. Banks blames everything on Reginald. At WrestleMania 37, opponents continue arguing back and forth. Belair said that she won't be coming out to save Banks tonight, and doesn't expect her to do to Banks walks off. So we get the SmackDown Women's Tag Team title match: Nia Jax versus versus Sasha Banks. Baszler gets in the ring. Baszler rolls into the ring. Baszler follows. The referee distracts her with Belair, allowing Baszler to go for the kick on Banks, but she accidentally takes her out, her own partner. Belair sends Baszler through the ropes to the floor, and Banks ends up getting the jackknife pin on Jax to retain. Winner Sasha Banks retains SmackDown Women's Championship in that match. After the match, the music hits as Banks takes the title and begins celebrating. She joins Belair on the ramp, raising the title in the air. Jax recovers in the ring as she sees Baszler looks to be apologizing to Jax as we get replay. The announcers send us to a progressive response video showing what led to tonight's Jey Uso versus Edge. Got Kayla Braxton backstage with Edge. Now she asks him how he feels about having his first match on SmackDown in a decade. Edge said it's crazy. SmackDown has always felt like home to me, he said. And some of his best career moments happened here, including his World Heavyweight title win over The Undertaker. The worst career moment he had happened here when he had to hand the title over and retire. Ed said that he's back at it. Also, he feels how he feels for real, and goes on about inserting himself into the Fastlane match. And Ed said he truly feels like Daniel Bryan needs a fair shot. Bryan will get that if he's the special enforcer. He acknowledges Bryan's attack last week, but he said would have done the same thing. Ed said it feels like that Jey could be one of the greatest talents we've seen, but not as long as he's following in the shadow of Roman Reigns, where he will always find trouble. Tonight is just that trouble. And he walks off. So we go right back to the ring, and out comes Seth Rollins as he announces plug WrestleMania 37 tickets being on sale. Rollins enters the ring and poses as fans boo him. We go to commercial. Back from break, we see how WWE Hall of Famer Edge and Hulk Hogan team up on Smackdown 19 years ago in 2002 to win the WWE Tag Team titles from Billy Gunn and Chuck. The announcers plug Hogan, Titus O'Neil, being the WrestleMania 37 host this year for WrestleMania. Nia Jax is backstage venting to Shayna Baszler over what happened. Baszler apologized to Jax but doesn't want to hear it. That she wants to know what Baszler is going to do about it. Baszler is going to get a rematch with Bianca Belair and then give it her the nastiest beating in her life. Rollins talks about his triumph return several weeks ago, about when the SmackDown roster surrounded the ring to greet him like a king. He says that some didn't like him, but they did this because they respect him, and calls them idols for idiots for walking out, and says that he's one person that disrespect too far. Cesaro Rollins then goes on to how Cesaro disrespected, humiliated, and embarrassed him. Rollins says that he's finally figured out why. Because Cesaro is jealous of Rollins' success and how he loved, and the fact that a WrestleMania main event, while Cesaro is a subject failure, fans continue to boo. Rollins goes on about how he's a fighter, not a failure. After what Cesaro showed us last week, he can't say the same thing. Rollins shows us a replay of how he took Cesaro out last week, finishing him with 2 big stomps. Rollins goes on taunting Cesaro and calling him the biggest waste of potential in WWE history. The music hits and interrupts that comes to Shinsuke Nakamura. Rollins starts ranting about Nakamura's disrespect to him now. Rollins warns Nakamura to stay out of the ring, or to not disrespect him. Nakamura enters the ring and takes the mic and tells Rollins to shut up. Fans pop. Rollins goes on to attack Nakamura but avoids it. Then he drops him with a kick. Rollins then retreats to the floor. Nakamura then follows up with Nakamura taunts Rollins from the ring as he looks on for him to come back in the fight. Rollins runs, but Nakamura drops him. Nakamura goes for Kinshasa and nails it for the big pop. Rollins backs up against the ropes to recover as Nakamura's music hits. Nakamura stands tall on the ramp as Rollins looks on. The announcers hype up Eric Bischoff is going into the WWE Hall of Fame like Molly Holly. Eric Bischoff is the next inductee announced for the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2021. We got the Street Profits versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. We're back from break. The announcers have bound to join SmackDown Tag Team Champions Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Out next is Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Ford and Dawkins start off and pressing early on. Ford fights back. Rey tags in, nails a drop kick. As Rey covers for 2. Finally, we seen Ford levels Dominic with a big shot, then slams him with the 2 count. Dawkins tags in as Ford goes for the top rope. Dawkins puts on his shoulders as Ford goes up, but Rey runs in and knocks Ford off the top rope, and then helps Dawkins, rolls Dawkins up for the pin to win. Winners Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio defeat Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. After the match, Rey and Dominic celebrate the upset win as the big hits. Out comes Otis and Chad Gable next. They confront Rey Mysterio and hope that Rey and Dominic don't think they earned the title shot before them. Gable goes on about how they were recently done to Rey Mysterio and Dominic, but the Mysterios have hard enough. They attack Gable and Otis, taking them down for a pop. Rey and Dominic stand tall as we go to commercial. We get Alpha Academy versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic. We've seen Gable, Otis underway with Rey Mysterio, Gable, Street, excuse me, the Street Profits on commentary. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler also on commentary. Gable takes to the top rope, but Rey headbutts him to the mat. Rey with the flying to Senton. Rey counters and drops Gable for the 6-1 dive. Then nails Dominic. Then Dominic runs in and drops Otis with the apron. Rey then goes for the top rope, but Otis catches her. While the referee is back to turn, Dominic is out of the ring. Gable is with a big suplex. Otis comes in and drops here with a headbutt on Rey. Otis scoops up Rey and slams him into the middle of the ring. Otis counters and dominate Rey as Gable cheers him on and talks trash to Rey. Finally, we get the 619, but Gable blocks it, moves, catches him for a slam. Dominic blocks, but Gable sends him with a German suplex. Otis climbs to the turnbuckles and hits the high fly splash on Dominic for the pin to win in the middle of the ring. Winners Otis and Chad Gable defeat Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. After the match, the Alpha Academy stand tall as Rey recovers at ringside. Roode and Ziggler tell the announcers that they will welcome any challengers at any time. The Street Profits have words with the champs as Roode and Ziggler pose with their titles on top of the announce table. The announcers plug WWE Fastlane on WWE Network and Peacock. We get Sami Zayn is backstage ranting about his conspiracy documentary film, mentioning a match with King Corbin tonight. Kevin Owens walks by. Sami stops him, asking him about his being involved with the documentary. Sami brags about being in touch with the Logan Paul as he tries to talk Owens into it. Owens mentions that knowing Sami for a long time and asks him what he's considered all that might be his fault. Sami won't take blame for anything and continues to blame them. But Owens asks who they are, and Sami has no answer. Sami invites Owens to ringside to watch his match tonight. And if Owens doesn't see anything remotely spontaneous, Sami will drop all this conspiracy stuff. We're back at ringside. Out comes Daniel Bryan, fans shit yes. And we go to commercial. Back from break, we see Edge cashed in Money in the Bank to win the WWE World Heavyweight title from The Undertaker 14 years ago. They announced hype up Edge versus Jey Uso tonight in the main event, with the winner being the special enforcer for Daniel Bryan versus WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns at Fastlane. Go to the ring, Bryan chanting yes with fans in the ring as the announcers hype up Fastlane on Peacock and the WWE Network. Bryan takes the mic and says that, about tonight, what might is goes hyping up Edge versus Uso. Brian goes on about what will happen at Fastlane. Jay wins tonight. On the other hand, Edge is the ultimate opportunist and will do whatever he needs to do to get what he wants. What he wants is to challenge what Roman Reigns one-on-one at WrestleMania. Brian gets it, and he said he understands why. But that's because Edge doesn't want to face Brian. And Edge thinks that he can beat Reigns. Brian says the difference between them is Edge thinks he can beat Reigns while knowing he can't beat Reigns, and prove it this Sunday when he makes Reigns tap out just like he did to Uso. Beats hips, and out comes WWE Universal Champion, while Paul Heyman fans boo as Reigns raises the title. As the power goes off, Reigns talks about Heyman, hands him the mic. Reigns said that he laughs at the idea of Brian tapping him out. Reigns said he can deal with Brian telling him his little lies. He likes saying he's ambitious and deserving of WrestleMania main event, but he can't drag Reigns' name and lie on the tribal chief, saying that he can't tap him out. Reigns says that Brian shooting lightning out of his ass or surrounding wings and flying out of here like a little bird. Reigns says no one has in his entire career has tapped him out. He said he would lose an arm than tap to any man, and he would rather die in the ring before tapping. Brian said that Reigns saying that he'd rather die is someone pretty strong words. Brian warns everyone he thinks that unstoppable until tap out. Brian said that he is just going to make Reigns tap. He said he's going to break him out of his beliefs and his delusional. Brian goes on. He said he doesn't want Reigns to die, but he promises that he will beat him and start the yes chant back up. Start the yes chant back up as Reigns and Paiva head to the back. We got a brief promo video for Sami Zayn versus King Corbin, mocking him. The promo says that this is the latest tension match on Smackdown that no one asked for. Unfortunately, there will be a winner, but thankfully, there is also a winner, and that odd. We got King Corbin versus Sami Zayn one-on-one. Winner this match, King Corbin. So the referee recovers turnbuckles, but Sami argues with him. Corbin takes advantage and hits the end of days, his signature maneuver in the middle of the ring for the pin to win. King Corbin defeats Sami Zayn one-on-one. After the match, Corbin stands tall and music hits. Owen tells Cole he saw nothing out of the ordinary about Sami. Sami argues with the referee at ringside and asks Owens officiating. He said that Sami is just bad at things. Don't go his way. Sami rants on and yells. Owens turns his back to Cole and Greg. Sami suddenly attacks from behind. The big Khalifa kick to the head. Sami yells at Owens, keeps him down while fans boo. Sami still walks off, ranting as we go to replays. Blames everything on the referee as his documentary crew continues filming. Sami and Owens doesn't want to see the truth, and that's his problem. We get CBE and Apollo Crews getting hooked up. Their sit-down interview. We're back for break. Seth Rollins versus Nakamura confirmed for Fastlane. We see a happening recent happenings between the WWE Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews and the announcers hype up Fastlane match on Sunday. Fastlane, we get Vinny's Big E said that Crews has 2 days, and he wouldn't be taking those days, enjoy the air and normal faction of his limbs. Big E Blast said that there's no question that he will retain on Sunday, while Crews will get everything he deserves. So we get Big E finds himself on a golf cart, rides around Tropicana Field while yelling at Crews. He changes his mind. Big E attacks, beats Crews around the backstage. Stage area of the stadium. Big E destroys Crews, throwing him into walls, beating around. Officials show up and separate them. Crews gets on the golf cart and rides all the way as officials hold Big E back. We get Bianca Belair vs Shayna Baszler. Winner of this match with the no contest. Belair said the fans boom. We see Baszler laid out on the other side of the announce table. Talia and Snuka taunt Belair in the ring before standing up tall while Talia music hits. Got a no contest. The announcers hype up WWE Fastlane on Peacock at WWE Network again. We see Edge returning on SmackDown 10 years ago. We get Edge versus Jey Uso one-on-one. Edge is out of the ring, keeps down. As we see the welts on Edge's gut. Uso launches Edge into the corner. They said he have Edge first into the ring post. Edge screams out for the pin. Uso follows